Today we're traveling back in time to ancient Rome to experience one of the most iconic structures in human history, the Colosseum. But we're not just going to admire its architecture or discuss its construction. No, today we're going to immerse ourselves in the sights, sounds and spectacles that would have greeted you if you were a spectator at the Colosseum nearly 2,000 years ago. Imagine yourself standing before this magnificent amphitheatre in the heart of Rome around 80 AD. The Colosseum, or Flavian Amphitheatre as it was known then, has just been completed under the rule of Emperor Titus. Its colossal structure looms before you, a testament to Roman engineering and imperial power. But what was it really like to be a spectator here? Let's find out. As you approach the Colosseum, you're part of a massive crowd. Up to 80,000 people could attend events here, and it seems like all of Rome has turned out today. But don't worry about long queues or confused ushers. The Romans were masters of crowd control and efficiency. Your ticket isn't a piece of paper but a small pottery shard called an ostracon. On it is inscribed your seat location, section, row and seat number. Yes, the Romans had assigned seating. The Colosseum had 80 numbered entrances, each corresponding to different sections of the amphitheatre. You'd simply find your numbered arch and follow the efficiently designed passageways to your seat. But where you sit depends entirely on your social status. Are you a senator? Lucky you. You get to sit in the front rows, closest to the action, a wealthy equestrian. You're not far behind, an ordinary Roman citizen. You'll be higher up, but still with a good view. And if you're a woman, unless you're of the imperial family, or a poor plebeian, I'm afraid you'll be right at the top. As you take your seat, the atmosphere is electric. The air is filled with the buzz of excited conversations in Latin and Greek. Hawkers move through the crowd, selling snacks like fruit, nuts and sweet pastries. You might even buy some roasted songbirds on a stick, a popular Roman snack. The smell of food mingles with less pleasant odours. Remember, this is a time before modern sanitation. The scent of sweat from the packed crowds, the lingering smell of blood and animals from previous events, all combine to create a unique olfactory experience. Looking down, you see the arena floor covered in sand. This isn't just for show. The sand helps absorb the blood from the violent spectacles you're about to witness. It's from this sand, or arena in Latin, that we get the modern word arena. Contrary to popular belief, gladiatorial combat wasn't the only, or even the main, event at the Colosseum. A typical day at the amphitheatre would start early in the morning and follow a specific programme: animal hunts, venationes. The day begins with exotic animal hunts. You watch in awe as skilled hunters take on lions, bears, leopards, and even elephants imported from far-flung corners of the empire. It's a display of Rome's power and reach, bringing the exotic into the heart of the city. Executions. As shocking as it may seem to us, public executions were a regular part of the entertainment. Criminals condemned to death might be forced to fight animals or each other. Some might be executed in elaborate reenactments of myths or historical events. Gladiatorial combats. The main event usually took place around noon. Pairs or groups of gladiators would fight each other in a variety of styles. Contrary to Hollywood depictions, these fights weren't always to the death. Skilled gladiators were valuable commodities, and many fights ended when one gladiator admitted defeat. The crowd roars as two gladiators face off. One is a heavily armoured murmillo, wielding a large rectangular shield and a short sword. His opponent is a lightly armoured thraex, armed with a small curved shield, and a sika, a short curved sword. They circle each other warily, the sand crunching under their feet. Suddenly the thraex lunges forward, his sika flashing in the sunlight. The murmillo blocks with his shield, the clash of metal on metal ringing out across the arena. The crowd cheers at this first exchange, the excitement palpable. While the violence of the games might seem barbaric to our modern sensibilities, for the Romans, these events were about much more than bloodshed. They were a complex social and political institution. For the emperors and elite, games at the Colosseum were a way to curry favour with the masses. The famous bread and circuses approach to keeping the populace content. It was a display of their wealth, power, and generosity. For the spectators, it was a rare opportunity to see the emperor in person, to feel part of a larger community, and to escape the daily grind of Roman life. The games were also deeply religious in nature, often dedicated to the gods, or to the memory of deceased emperors. Look up at the imperial box. The emperor himself is present today, resplendent in purple robes. His reactions often guide those of the crowd. If he's bored, the crowd might turn against a poor performer. If he's excited, the energy in the amphitheatre reaches fever pitch. But what about comfort during these day-long events? The Romans thought of everything. Look up and you'll see the velarium, an enormous awning that could be extended over the seats to provide shade. It's an engineering marvel, operated by a team of sailors from the Roman Navy, experts in handling large pieces of fabric in the wind. Need a break? The Colosseum is equipped with numerous exits called vomitoria. Don't worry, it's not what you might think. The term simply refers to the way these passageways would spew forth people into the seating areas. These allowed the entire amphitheatre to be filled or emptied in a matter of minutes. Feeling hot? There are fountains available for drinking, and on particularly scorching days, a fine mist of perfumed water might be sprayed over the crowd to cool them down. Some accounts even mention saffron-scented water being used. Imagine the luxury! For many Romans, attending events at the Colosseum wasn't just about watching the spectacles. It was a prime opportunity for socializing and being seen. The seating arrangements reflected and reinforced the social hierarchy of Roman society. In the front rows, you'd see senators in their togas with purple stripes, perhaps discussing politics or business deals between bouts. Behind them, the equestrians, wealthy businessmen and their families, might be networking or showing off their latest fashions. Higher up, you'd find the ordinary citizens, a sea of white togas for the men and colourful stolas for the women. This was a chance for them to rub shoulders with their neighbours, catch up on gossip, and feel part of the larger Roman community. And at the very top, the poor and the women, except those of the imperial family, would be crowded together, perhaps grumbling about their distant view, but still excited to be part of the event. As the sun begins to set, the final events of the day draw to a close. You've witnessed incredible displays of skill, shocking violence, exotic animals, and the full pomp and pageantry of imperial Rome. You've cheered, gasped, perhaps even shed a tear or felt nauseous at times. As you file out of the Colosseum with the crowd, your ears ringing from the day's noise, your toga perhaps a bit stained from the snacks and jostling, you're already discussing the day's highlights with your fellow spectators. Who was the most skilled gladiator? Did you see the emperor's reaction to that surprising upset? Can you believe the size of that rhinoceros in the morning's hunt? You'll be talking about this day for weeks to come, reliving the excitement and spectacle. This wasn't just entertainment, it was a fundamental part of what it meant to be Roman. And so, as we leave our ancient Roman spectator and return to the present day, we're left with a vivid picture of what it was like to attend an event at the Colosseum. It was a multi-sensory experience that combined entertainment, politics, religion, and social interaction in a way that was uniquely Roman. The Colosseum stands today as a reminder of the grandeur and complexity of Roman society. While we may view some aspects of the games with horror, understanding the experience of a Roman spectator gives us valuable insights into this fascinating civilization that has shaped so much of our world. Thank you for joining us on this journey back in time. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more historical deep dives. Until next time, Vale, farewell.